Hey guys, meteorologist Jamie Singleton here. Sorry, I was trying to get on about 16 different times here. Sometimes if I disconnect my restream, trouble getting back in. Um, Hopefully, I think everyone is okay. We do have several tornado warnings around the Charlotte area, and I'll be talking about those. We can see them on the radar. There are three warnings, actually two cells that I'm trying to gain this up a little bit. Equipment is being funny. I got some gremlins going on here. Here are the tornado warnings. You can see one near Rock Hill. There's another one that includes the Charlotte Metro. That also includes Mint Hill. It's on the east side of Charlotte. And we do have on our velocity here a couplet, some good rotation. This is coming out of the Greenville-Spartanburg area. Um, off the radar there. We've got a tornado warning that remains in effect until 10:45 p.m. for southwestern Carrabba's, central Mecklenburg, and north central Union counties. If you were on my Patreon earlier, you know that I've been updating my forecast a little bit and shifting that threat to the south. Now we've got that warning off, so we've got the new warning that remains here for this area. But Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina line has been the big zone today for all the wind shear. So we've got the tornado warning for Carrabba's, central Mecklenburg until 11:15 for another 30 minutes. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located 10 miles east of uptown Charlotte. So this is it right here. Or near Mint Hill, as I mentioned, right here, just to the north of Mint Hills, where the actual circulation is, moving east at 40 miles per hour. My radar, I believe I have it moving out of the southwest at 40. Let's see, looks to me like it's moving more northeast. Sometimes these things can take on a little bit of a right deviant movement from the storm path, though. Tornado and quarter-sized hail. Here are your locations, Midland and Mount Pleasant until 11 o'clock. We've also got another tornado warning down here across South Carolina. See a ton of rotation from this. It looks to me like it's more, there was some rotation earlier. It looks like it's kind of weakened a little bit, but still a very strong storm. Don't get me wrong. Still have some straight line winds in here, gusting up to about 60 to 65 miles per hour. So this is now a straight line wind event with maybe something spinning on it. It does look like you could see something on the north edge of that. You have to watch out for the bookend vortex kind of thing. Smooth it out here. And this is an indicator of a lot of turbulence right through here. So we are seeing there around York and McConnell's in South Carolina a gust front, some very strong winds here. Right now, that circulation looks very impressive just to the east of Hickory Grove. And to get your counties on here, I'm going to show you that it's Carrabba's and east of Mecklenburg County. We'll zoom on a little bit more here near Newell. Hickory Grove is where the inflow notch is with this, and it also includes Pioneer Mills, Flow Store, Georgeville, Barriers Mill, and Midland. See if I can get a storm track on with my WeatherTap software. Never find this stuff when I really want it to pop up there. Some very heavy storms too. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings out as well for the same area, just for over a larger area there. For Stanley counties getting to cities. Davie County. I'm sorry, it's Rowan County. It's not as far north as Davie County, although there is some bad weather up there near 40, but nothing too severe. But this is where the warm front's meeting the cold front. Again, this is until 11:15, so we've got another 27 minutes or so of this warning to go. Storm track. For you here. There it is. Okay. So as you see there on your screen, this is a automated detection, so it may not be perfect. Cells moving at 40 miles per hour. As I mentioned, we could have up to 1-inch hail with this. Radar saying 0.75. Let's see, 52 near Harrisburg. This is in North Carolina, around Charlotte, on the east side of Charlotte, and East Mecklenburg County and southern Travis County. Allen at 1054. Roberta Mill at 1055, and it just updated there. There's a lot of lightning too, right near the center of that. Pioneer Mills at 1056 in the way of that tornado warning. And then down to the York County area, we do have another cell and a tornado warning here. It's going to be your 5 points at 1054, Newport at 1054, River Pines at 1055, Willow Acres 1055, and Wood Forest at 1056 Eastern Time. Couple of hail reports too in Gaston County. Golf ball sized hail, just short of golf ball sized hail. That's about 1.5 inches in diameter, Gaston County, and also 1.25 inch hail near Gastonia, 2 miles to the west northwest of Gastonia, relayed through amateur radio down there. $50 size hail on North Liberty Street and West Main Avenue. So again, this is the Charlotte Metro here. And you can see the loop there. There's 85, Interstate 85. 77's back off here to the west of this. So if you're going down 77, you've got the warning out to the east here in Carrabba's County. Then you've got eastern Mecklenburg County. You've got another one in York County. So this may turn into something as well. Here's the bigger picture, and just to show you what's going on across the rest of the area. I'm trying to do more regional stuff. We are looking at a fairly strong line that's starting to develop here, but what's happening in Virginia is we are relatively cooler and less buoyant than the air mass across North Carolina. And as we've seen here in Virginia, when we get tornadoes, it's usually on the edge of a wedge. And surprise, surprise, that is what's happening in North Carolina. The wedge is a little further south. If you look at the surface winds, you can see these easterly winds here, and look down across Columbia. Our winds are out of the south. So we get some spin right here, and it just happens to be that warm front that's basically the edge of the wedge is the warm front. That's where our tornado warnings are coming out. Now, within the wedge, we have severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect across North Carolina. And these are for the cells that were spinning earlier. They're moving into that cooler air mass, and so they still may produce damaging straight line winds, but they're not turning as much as the surface-based convection. You're not going to get a tornado in a wedge, but on the edge of the wedge, down here, again, near the Charlotte Metro, is just where we happen to see the most rotation, and it's right on the edge of that. So let me go over the severe thunderstorm warnings. We have southern Davidson County and a severe thunderstorm warning until 11:15. Stanley County until 11:15 as well. Got a severe thunderstorm located near Rockwell, 12 miles east of Kannapolis, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. You know there's a lot of weather going on when these things are moving at 60 miles per hour. Quarter-sized hail also possible, but you need to remember that we've also got a couple of reports in here off to the west of $50 sized hail. This is the Storm Prediction Center outlook that goes through the rest of tonight. You can see they highlighted the area that was to be North Carolina and right on the Carolina border, and the slight risk there. And this also drives home another point. It's a slight risk. So, you know, if you do the levels, you say, okay, that's only a level 2 out of level 5. But we've got tornadoes possible here. So I don't like saying that a level 2 out of level 5 is implying that it's not going to be that bad. You have to consider the environment, the pattern that you're in, and you have to also remember that these risks are written out. If you look at the definition from the Storm Prediction Center, they're written to be an indicator of the density of the expected severe weather. How many severe thunderstorms are we expected in a certain area within 25 miles of one point? Not necessarily the intensity. You can get damaging tornadoes and a marginal risk. And we've had that in Virginia. So I don't like saying level 2 out of 5, but I just want to show you the Storm Prediction Center map how it lines up there. I'm going to put on the significant tornado parameter for you as well as our warnings continue coming out of this area. We've got a few positive lightning strikes through here, indicated by the plus sign. That's an indicator sometimes of tornadic activity. That is lightning that comes out of the top of the cloud, and it's often about 10 times stronger than your normal negative lightning strikes, which come out of the bottom of the cloud and they hit the tops of trees and buildings. Positive lightning strikes will come out of the top of the cloud and they'll hit flat land. It's very interesting. Here's their current rotation and the rotation over the past hour, and you can follow these tracks here. We've got one that moved through Clover. That's the same supercell we're looking at now. That's nearing the locust area as we speak. We may see this expanded. You can see it looks like it's jumping every few miles, but what's happening is this is just where the radar has been scanning and it's caught up to it. So this is really a straight line, although it looks like a dotted line, but we use this to also look at rotation. We've also had a rotation track here come out of Spartanburg across Sharon, just south of Blacksburg and South Carolina. Now it's around the York area is where it is, and we've got some too around the McConnells area. Max estimated hail size. These are hail tracks, which is also a good indicator of the 3 supercells that have produced the tornado warnings. The one right now is, again, the furthest north is just south of Denton. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning there. Continues until 11:15 for southeastern Davidson counties and eastern Stanley counties. This storm is near 7 miles southeast of High Rock Lake, 10 miles northwest of Baden Lake, moving northeast at 40. So straight line winds with this one, okay? It's right there. You can see those brighter cloud tops that surround it as well. It's going to be nearing the Asheboro area very soon. So to get your bearings, here's Greensboro, Winston-Salem. Here's the Virginia state line. And then down to the south is where we have the severe thunderstorm warnings and, again, 2 tornado warnings. So there's one track here north of Charlotte that dropped hail and up to $half sized hail. I think it's probably putting down some 1-inch hail at least through here. Then you've got a second one. You can track it back over the last hour that moved right through Charlotte and is currently entering southern Carrabba's County out of east central Mecklenburg County. And then you've got one down here across South Carolina. This is the one that's in effect until 11 p.m. For eastern York County and southwestern Mecklenburg County. So it won't be long before Mecklenburg County is probably removed from the one tornado warning up to the east side of Charlotte. But you've got another one to worry about on the south side of Charlotte. We've also got a lot of heavy rain here. Rainfall, if you look back over the past few hours here, has topped 2 inches estimated by the radar there. And here's just the base reflectivity as we look at it on the composite scale. You can see these very high values showing us where we likely have some large hail here as well. Let me look at a more detailed radar picture for you. And I'm going to pull this up out of the terminal radar, which is the airport radar out of the Charlotte area. So we're going to go over and look at my iPad here, and we're going to use Radar Scope. Let's make sure this is a valid time. 10:56 is the image, so that's only a minute old. And on this one, I don't see as much rotation, but I do see a lot of wind. There is that cell. So if there is a tornado, more than likely, get my drawing tool here. This would be your inflow notch coming into the storm. This would be your rear flank downdraft through here. This is your front flank downdraft, okay? And then your spin, your tornado is right there if we do have a tornado. The terminal radar doesn't offer as much detail, but it's closer to the warning than the Greenville-Spartanburg radar is. We've also got a strong thunderstorm nearing Smith and Tazewell and Bland counties in the Virginia area, so we'll watch that for you as well. I'm going to put on the Weather Lab radar for you. We'll make sure everything that I'm seeing. So Concord now is in a severe thunderstorm warning, as well as this storm moves across 601. Route 601 is where the strongest part of that storm is. And then you can see the other one here. We move down across York County here. Now we're getting in the south end of Charlotte. You probably are going to get some more rain, more heavy rain, and probably some gusty winds and possible rotation with this as well. Got different products I can use on here. I'll go to my velocity, and you see something near Fort Mill. It looks like maybe just around the 485 area, some rotation there. This is back off the Greer site. Getting some range folding near the second warning here. These storms are entering an area that's going to be in between Blacksburg and Raleigh and Charlotte. So these warnings will probably expire and move into the cooler air mass, or they could be continued by neighboring National Weather Service offices. I want to show you Virginia too. We've got very heavy rainfall occurring now in Franklin County. It's raining hard at the TV station. We've had about 1/4 of an inch of rain today, and moderate rain through Blacksburg and Christiansburg in the NRV. Stronger area of rain through Floyd County, 221, Route 8, between Christiansburg and Floyd itself, and then that continues south in the Parkway, Blue Ridge Parkway in the western Patrick County. You can see just some rainy conditions along I-77 going down to Charlotte, where we've got the severe weather. That special weather statement that should have auto-posted to both my Twitter and Facebook includes Tazewell County. It's for this cell right here in Southwest Virginia, with rain continuing up north into Welch and Princeton, West Virginia. But it looks like just to the east of Richlands and around Tazewell is where we're seeing this rainfall, the heaviest. I'm going to put on the volume here. We can take a look at the 3D nature of this cell that's in the Tazewell County area, and it's starting to tower up fairly good compared to the other ones, but a lot of this convection again is elevated, so it shouldn't be too severe, although it's probably going to be heavy. Now this is fascinating because the National Weather Service in Blacksburg's radar is picking up the tops from our Charlotte thunderstorm. As the bird flies, it's not too far away. It's on the edge of the radar there. So as we tilt it, we can see the purple and the red. And then the warnings are updating. I no longer have a tornado warning for the South Carolina area, York County. That has now become just a severe thunderstorm warning, but that doesn't mean the tornado threat is over. It means that for right now, it's not indicated, but it could spin back up again. Looking around again, Asheboro would be the next area I would watch. Looks like this is right over Albemarle and Baden or Oakboro. The tornado warning continues there right on 601, just to the east of Harrisburg in North Carolina. Charlotte Metro right now is okay, except for the south side of the Charlotte Metro from Matthews into Pineville is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning that now includes Rock Hill as well. That's off the Blacksburg radar. Let's switch here, might go to Columbia and see what they've got. And there's a much better 3D view of the thunderstorms. I'm going to tilt back under here again, and you can see there's the Charlotte Metro. You've got that tornado warning that right now is south of Concord, but it goes right up against Mount Pleasant. That's for these cells that you're looking at in 3 dimensions right now. I'm going to go to the reflectivity, velocity, from the reflectivity to the velocity. And there's our rotation. So this is being picked up better by the Columbia radar. You can see it right there, 601. So if there is a tornado, it is more than likely right here. Okay, and it's moving off to the east-northeast, so it's moving in that direction. It's actually right there on the. I'm going to look at a couple of geeky things while I keep that circled. Our differential reflectivity. This shows me the shape of the raindrops or the whatever is falling out of the sky, and I'm seeing some circulation, but in the middle, usually with a tornado or a rotating storm, you can see almost a circle, and then in the center of that, you have the gray areas where there's hardly any. So that's actually correlating with matches up with a possible tornado. correlation coefficient, we're looking for debris. Oh my goodness, and we have it. So this is actually picking up debris. I feel like this is a serious situation now that I look at this, because that's either hail or debris, and it could be hail, but it also looks like with those blue values, this is how the objects are behaving as compared to other objects that are falling. And so if you're in the cranberry color, everything's behaving the same. But if you get down into these greens and blues, things are behaving a little differently. And so what we could be looking at is tornadic debris here in this area. There you see the warning on your screen. I'm going to pop that up for you so you can see it. It remains in effect until 11:15 for southeastern Carrabba's County. At 10:57, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was 12 miles southeast of downtown Concord near Midland, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Take cover now, move to a basement, lowest level of a home or vehicle in this area of North Carolina. Again, spectrum width is showing me wind shear, or turbulence rather, just around the Stanfield area. So now let me get rid of my drawing here. I'll put the new area I'm watching right there. So it's right near Stanfield. There's your possible tornado. Moving again east-northeast, I think. It's moving toward Albemarle and Baden, if I said that right. Now Asheboro in the I-74, which was 220, down through just north of Rockingham, is under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. But I'm really concerned about the rotation right now that's showing up. I'm going to go from the Greer radar in Greenville-Spartanburg on this software. I'm going to change that as well to Columbia. Look at all these hail reports here. Let's see. Going back to Greenville, South Carolina, county officials report numerous trees and power lines blown down in the area around Wade Hampton Boulevard and Pleasantburg Drive. Possible tornado is what they're calling this near Greenville, South Carolina. 1 inch hail, 1.75 inch hail through here. You can see that supercells tend to be long-lived. Now, looking at the storm relative velocity, and I need to redo this. I believe I'm going to look at where I've got the right data here feeding into the radar. So I'm going to place a marker here, that cell, put the new in here, storm motion, and now this should be better. I see some rotation just to the west of Seagrove and south of Denton with this severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for Asheboro, Randleman, Seagrove. You pass by there if you're going to Myrtle Beach. I've got a friend that lives south of Asheboro, went to college with. Matt, hopefully you're taking cover, buddy. And down across Matthews as well, we've got that severe thunderstorm warning. Still some rotation, and I'm seeing new rotation showing up south of Monroe. And this guy, this little guy right here, is producing some rotation. And there it is. It's showing up there in the blue area near Fort Mill. There's also stretched out rotation, but near Locust, there's some rotation as well. This will be toward the radar and away from the radar, right through here. And there's again, this is toward, that's away. Moving up. Looking out here, still got some interesting features. That's an interesting feature near Kershaw. An outflow boundary. That should show up on my spectrum width as well. Look at that. Yeah, right there. That's leading into some gusty winds. One of the things too spectrum width can possibly show you, it's hard to tell, but you can see right through here, we've got some colors that are showing up in kind of a circular area. That's near Locust. That's also where the hail is going to be maxed out here. That's also where our correlation coefficient drops. So I do think near Locust there's a possible tornado there. And we may actually be seeing this more as a straight line wind threat too. It's hard to tell because this is also on the edge of what the radar can pick up. Is it close enough to Raleigh to get some decent data? Let's look at Raleigh real fast. It's going to be higher up, I think, in the sky, but we may be able to see something as we load it. That's a good look at the warnings. Asheboro, Seagrove, down to Ansonville. Here near Locust, again, off the Raleigh radar, you can see some rotation, but it is hard to see. It is hard to see that far out. Here are the storms on the reflectivity. And again, Asheboro, hunker down. You're only 56 degrees right now. So this is elevated, but there is a good inflow notch here as the updraft comes into the storm. So there is some gusty winds with this too. I'm looking at winds that are showing up around 60 miles per hour or so off the reflectivity out of Asheboro. Now, no tornado warnings are up. That's good news for right now, but I'm still very suspect about this locust storm there to the southeast of Concord, North Carolina. I just don't like the looks of that. Although the rotation's there, it's probably weakened enough to where they're not too worried about it at the moment. But that's the story from there. Then you go north, and again, we've got the heavy rain in here across southwest Virginia as well. Let me go up to our Blacksburg radar, take a little throat break here. Notice where your warm front is. This is as of a few hours ago, so this will update in another hour or so. There's some heavy rain through here. We're going to have to watch the rainfall rates, make sure they aren't going crazy. Right now, they're behaving themselves for the most part. You do have to watch these brighter areas right through here. That's where rain really come down. So if that turns green, usually a sign of some very heavy rain. But yeah, it's just a lot of rain through the Blue Ridge and into the foothills. This is what I call the foothills. And know your counties. This is Bedford County. We've got some just rain. I don't expect any tornado warnings in our local area, but we do have a special weather statement out with these gusty storms that are coming through Tip Top and Tazewell County near in Bluefield and Princeton. And we've got what a special weather statement is. It's just shy of a warning. It needs to be, you need to note it, but it's not a take action kind of thing. It still can cause some disruption out there. And far southwest Virginia around Johnson City, we've got some storms out there coming in with the storm system as well. There's a loop of the tornado warnings, and they have now gone into just severe thunderstorm warnings as we are seeing this more of a stable air mass right now. The supercells have crossed over into the wedge. So that's some good news for right now. Looking back here now across, probably producing some hail though, about North Carolina into South Carolina off the Greer radar. Just seeing some very high reflectivities here. I'm going to try to look inside these storms and see what we can see. This is the one around Asheboro. It's very low topped. See the one around Charlotte area. This was the York County storm. Very low topped here. So again, any tornado that we may have had likely was just maybe right through there. See, this is what we call a bounded weak echo region. It's where the updraft is occurring. These are the towers that go up in the storm, overshoot the top here, and they go into the cooler air mass and they weaken a little bit. There's another cell up north of here. This is just to the south of the Charlotte area. And this is a 3D view inside. I have to try to show you some hail. Pick it up. I might go back to Raleigh. We should be able to get this out of Raleigh. That's one thing that definitely is confirmed with these storms, not necessarily the tornado, but the hail threat. I'm going to draw a line through this one around Asheboro. You can see that goes up to about 20,000 feet. The reds here, the higher reflectivities. Now, where you see the white just above 10,000 feet there, it's hard to see it because in the way of it. Side. This is probably hail or possible hail. We can actually look at the correlation coefficient and see that that lines up with probably hail in the green colors and the blue colors. That's more than likely hail. Again, this is in North Carolina, nearing the Asheboro area. At ADP shows me the heavy rainfall and that is some very heavy rain there in the orange. But where we have the lower colors right next to it, that's more than likely hail. Hail's going to show up as well as in these pixels. It'll be lighter. Really not showing us much right now. This is for my friends around Asheboro. Watch out there as well. We don't have any warnings, just a couple of special weather statements out in the Virginia area as this rain now pushes into Pennsylvania County. You can hear it raining as well. Here's a storm report that just came in, 1-inch hail in York, South Carolina, York County. Quarter-sized hail on Hansville Highway and Mount Gallant Road. Let's look a little deeper into what is causing all of this. And it's a low pressure system that has occluded. So the low itself is back here at the surface in Kentucky. You get what happens is the warm front that's right now arcing through the Carolinas doesn't move as fast. It runs into the wedge here, doesn't move as fast as the cold front. And so what happens is it catches up with the warm front, the cold front does, and it creates almost like a zipper going like that. It creates an occluded front. The point of occlusion is where we see maybe a new low pressure system, and you can actually see the counterclockwise winds. There they are coming out of the east in Charlotte and coming out of the southeast in Columbia. So they're really out of the west here in Greenville. They're really converging on this area. This is more than likely what we call the triple point. You've got one front, which is the occluded front. You've got the warm front, and you've got the cold front. Where they meet is called the triple point, and that's where we see most of the spin. Our supercell composite parameter is moderate through that area. It even gets higher as you go across eastern South Carolina. So this is an area that we may want to watch as well down through Charleston and Myrtle Beach. But even the Wilmington area, I think you need to watch out there tonight as this activity moves to the east. But it's interesting that within the cool air wedge, we've got a supercell parameter even right up against Henry County and Patrick County. So these storms may spin aloft, although it's doubtful they'll actually produce a tornado unless the warm front and the Cape can get up here. And right now, we just don't have that. These are easterly winds that are bringing in the rain and the low clouds and the drizzle. That's a very stable air mass. And a stable air mass means if you have a parcel of air and you try to pick it up, it's going to return back to the ground. Just like if you had a bowling ball at the end of a bottom of a valley and you try to move it up a hill, it's going to roll back down the hill. Gravity will take over and it's not going to go anywhere. Whereas if you were at the top of a hill and you moved it, a lot's going to happen. It's going to move way down the hill, and it's called unstable when any movement will cause even more movement. So we're going to move the air up tonight and create the rain in Virginia, but it's not going to keep going like it is down here across the southern part of North Carolina going into South Carolina. Let's look at the significant tornado parameter. And you see that is going to line up very close. These shaded areas in blue, that's where the air is just so stable. You would need to overcome that negative buoyancy to create the lift. But the wind shear is high, regardless of the stability. So we still have a lot of wind in the atmosphere. In fact, at 5,000 feet, it's coming in around 30 to 35 miles per hour. This is the wind at 5,000 feet, about 35 knots. there in the darker blue, and that's about 40-mile-per-hour wind. We've got some stronger winds too on the backside of this system. We're seeing, I thought I saw some lightning just now out the window. And I do hear thunder. So let's see where that came from, because we do have live lightning. Show you here. Virginia. Open up our lightning display. Should see, that may have been in the cloud, but we should see a new strike pop up. There's a little delay on my real-time lightning, but it should pop up there. There's also a fair amount of lightning down here in these storms across North Carolina. Again, the National Weather Service has it as a severe thunderstorm warning down here, but it could become a tornado warning, as a tornado is possible as it nears Asheboro and Seagrove there around Interstate 73 in the Randleman area too. Need to watch out for that. 60-mile-per-hour winds. There's a movement on it. You can see some areas there on your screen. Franklinville, Liberty, Hillsboro. Pouring down rain right now out the window of our TV station. So let me go back over to our local radar and we'll check things out for you. There's Franklin County, Rocky Mountain, Roanoke. So moving up and down 220. It's a busy time tonight with weather. And there's the cell that's over Redwood. That guy right there is what's making all the noise out my window right now. Hopefully you were able to see the Harvester concert that I was just directing with Kevin Tosh and the folks over at the Harvester, and Tad Dickens on the drums from the Roanoke Times. That was kind of fun hearing their band tonight. Here's your severe thunderstorm warning to the south again down around Asheboro. We move across Greensboro and High Point, northwest Piedmont of North Carolina, western Piedmont. Generally embedded storm. So a lot of lift is going through right now, even though, again, this is all surface based. Here's the new update. It's kind of forming a bit of a line there in Patrick County. We can look 3D at this too. About 20,000 feet is where this is topping out at. See, this is elevated convection. So we're getting higher. We're getting pretty high in the sky, but it's not joined at the surface. But I bet you can pick up these North Carolina storms. Spin this around here. There's the top of the Asheboro storm, around 30,000 feet up. For all you flat earthers out there, no, the Earth isn't flat, because look how the radar beam goes up, because the Earth curves up underneath the radar. No, shouldn't even give them credit. But here's the 3D view from Blacksburg. Sorry, I'm moving. Two main areas of rain in our region. One over Franklin County right now, over the Rocky Mount, Roanoke area, Redwood. And then there's another one out here across Tazewell County, around the Bluefield area. And our low is back here. So let me show you what's going on. Got low pressure is in Kentucky. Text the way. Then you've got this on radar scope. Back in. Multiple areas. That's a good view. Keep it there for a second. Put that in motion, let that load. You've got low pressure back here out of radar range. Then right along the occluded front, you've got the enhanced area of rain and heavy rain moving through. Then down to the south where the severe thunderstorm warning's up is your warm front. Your cold front extends south of that. So the area is right where those fronts meet. But blowing in from the south, you've got a pretty dynamic area of lift that's creating the heavy thunderstorm activity that we're getting outside right in Franklin County. Some very heavy rain. Rainfall rate at about 1/2 inch an hour. And there's our lightning showing up. Hard to see here, but got a lightning strike there. That's the one I saw out my window. Another one here. Let me pull back up this, and there's our new lightning side. So since we now have weather outside, I'm going to switch over and we're going to track these storms as they move through the area. Now we're on Blacksburg's radar. It's got some lightning too up in Botetourt County. Look at that cell. That's pretty strong. Yeah, I don't expect any major severe weather with this, but enough to grab your attention. We've had 3 lightning strikes in this area up 81 as you make your way through Daleville, Cloverdale, and Fincastle. Pouring down rain around the Buchanan area, not in Buchanan, but just north of there and just west of Buchanan. And you can see in here probably the lightning and thunder as well. It's just rain from Newcastle into Craig County in 311. Make your way into Catawba. It's just mainly some moderate to heavy rain. But we've got some embedded convection in Franklin County. Strongest part of these cells, it's rain with embedded cells, but through Windy Gap, Burnt Chimney, down through Rocky Mountain, Ferrum, it's raining very hard. So if you're going to be, I doubt many folks are out, but if you are, watch out for the rainfall that's occurring with some of these. Then in Patrick County around Stewart, we've also got some very heavy rain. Again, none of this looks severe to me, but I will tell you the storm in Tazewell County has caught my eye. Some very high reflectivities here. This could have some hail in it. The storm in getting some, wait for the radar to scan again. Some pretty high reflectivities there. So we've got another cell around Richlands, but this is nearing Bluefield. So East Tazewell County around Tip Top, the Pocahontas and Bluefield, not Pocahontas County, but the community of Pocahontas. Seeing some activity. This is the bad wind profile. This is where the radar sees, and this is out of South Carolina, so this is back in the unstable part of the storm. But the radar sees clouds, and each one of these columns is a time. There's 215Z, 228s. Every few minutes, we've got a scan. So this is the latest scan, right? Now, there's no data right here. So this is a 3D slice of the atmosphere for right at the radar. But at 2,000 feet, this is 3,000 feet, 4,000 feet. This is for 1 point, and these are times. And then this gives you an idea. If there's no data, there's no moisture to hit. So the moisture goes up to about 14,000, 13,000 feet. Now, where there is data, it shows you the wind, where it's coming from, and how strong it is. So at 319, this is a little bit old. Let me refresh this. 319Z. Maybe the latest. Coming in out of the south at the surface in South Carolina and North Carolina, but go just a couple 100 feet up in the 2,000 to 3,000 foot range, and it's coming in out of the southwest at 30 knots. So 20 knots out of the south, and then we go up to 4,000 feet, and it's 45 knots out of the southwest, and then it goes 50 knots, and then you get up here to the 12,000 feet. It's 50 knots out of the west southwest. So that wind is turning as you go up into the top of that thunderstorm. Now, if I move back across Virginia and look at what's going on here, we'll probably see similar readings, but again, this isn't surface-based, so don't expect it to be overly bad. Let me put that in motion. It's a good loop. There may be a little meso-low in here somewhere. Got some new development back here across Mount Airy, but that's not strong. But that one cell there, eastern, coming in the western Giles County, eastern Caswell County, that's Bland County actually, needs to be watched. I also want to watch out too around Beckley and Bluefield. You open up a new tab, and I'm going to put open the bad wind profile. There's a look at your current warnings too. Might keep this one though. Let's put this in motion. One thing I'm guilty of is opening a lot of tabs, but I like to know what's going on. Well, you can see Virginia and North Carolina, and we do loop for a reason. Looking at this loop, I can see that there appears to be strengthening of the activity. The rainfall looks like it's even heavier as it moves to the north and east. Maybe just as heavy actually, but it's still holding its own. We've got some new, we certainly have seen a lot of energy go into the foothills of Henry County and Pennsylvania County and Franklin County and southern Bedford County within the last few minutes. Okay, I wanted the bad wind profile. So I wanted to look at the winds in Blacksburg. What are they doing? Well, the wind in Blacksburg, and this is as of the latest scan, only goes up to about 4,000 feet, the data, but you're more out of the southeast, and then you turn from the southeast to the south, from out of the southwest. It's pretty good winds up here. It goes up to, we've got deeper moisture for sure. Our moisture goes all the way up to about 28,000 feet. Coming in out of the southwest at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Not very strong. So nothing that, it's all unidirectional except for the very lowest part here. So that doesn't really spell severe weather. It just spells some heavy rain. We look at the forecast off the HRRR. This is a 1 hour, every 1 hour we get a high resolution forecast. So this takes us right up against midnight tonight. And by the next 30 minutes, it's already 11:30, James. Already up through 2 o'clock, the heaviest activity will be shifting into central Virginia between Richmond and Roanoke and Farmville, South Boston, Mecklenburg County. There's our low back here to the west. You can see how it's not really moving because it occluded. So it's just sitting there, and then this arm is just kind of swinging out, kind of like a pendulum. And then it moves into the DC area. Some gusty winds too along the coast here as this moves up the coast. Then behind that, tomorrow for Sunday, we may have some spotty showers up underneath the upper level energy. So this moderate rain that we're seeing now should be over by around 5 in the morning, but watch out for some areas of fog. And then tomorrow too, the winds could be on the gusty side. We look at the wind gust here off the HRRR. We don't have a lot of wind. You can actually see the wedge right here in the white where the calmer winds are, right? And then where the winds have mixed out, you're out of the southwest there, a very gusty too around Charlotte. So this is why we had the tornado warnings earlier, because that was the edge of your wedge. Now you can see our wedge start to erode for Sunday once the sun comes out. See the white that's right there? And it goes right up against, it's like maple syrup. That's cool air. That's stubborn and it's hard to move. That's why there's little wind. But then when you scour it out during the day, you start to get breezy. So we'll be out of the southwest at up to 25 miles per hour at times. These are in knots. Impressive stuff. The new beta tested HRRR4 is also available. And this has better resolution if you ask me. Let's look at that forecast over the next 30 minutes. Heavy rain will shift into Bedford County into Pennsylvania County and South Side. I'll watch out Rockingham, Tazewell County, and I'm also again watching this activity around Tazewell County into Giles County. Additional showers are possible, but the Richmond area by 3 in the morning will be getting this heavy stuff, where you had a massive hailstorm yesterday in parts of central Virginia. And I told you the Richmond area needed to watch out for severe weather. We also need to worry about the chance of tornadic activity here as a warm front, remember, it's still going to be in North Carolina tonight, lifts out of New Bern and Greenville, Roanoke Rapids. This area down through Washington needs to watch out for possible tornadic activity. I'd say even Wilmington does too. Then it's out in the ocean by 10 a.m. tomorrow. Lots of precip to the north here and additional showers and storms from the Shenandoah Valley tomorrow afternoon. And some pop-up scattered popcorn type variety activity for Sunday. And tomorrow, more than likely in Virginia, it'll be a day where the sun may be out early. And then we start to see things cloud back up again as this upper level energy. This is the upper level part of the storm that's thrown our tonight's rain up into New York City by tomorrow. And then we've got the upper level moisture that kind of sits up under that. It'll be a windy day again tomorrow. A lot of things. This is the NAS, a different model. Getting all kinds of opinions here. There goes tonight's rain, but tomorrow, again, Bedford, Franklin County near the lake, by 2 or 3 o'clock, we could have some showers and storms moving through. And then look at all this light rain shower activity. Now, a lot of this is going to come down potentially as some graupel or some snow in the mountains. Look at the precip type here as the colder air gets involved. There's not a lot of cold air, but it ends right through here. This is Sunday night at 2 a.m. The Snowshoe Mountain area, the ridge tops in West Virginia, the Greenbrier Valley, will be seeing snow once again, where we will just be very windy across the rest of the area. Here are the wind gusts off the high-res NAM. And again, this is our wedge that shows up tonight. There's the edge of the wedge. Virginia Beach, you may want to watch out for severe weather tonight. But we start to get breezy by, I'd say, lunchtime tomorrow. And we start to get up to about 20, 25 miles per hour. And then we become more northwesterly. And the mountains of North Carolina from Asheville, the Blue Ridge Parkway up through Boone, Mitchell County here going into Floyd County will be very windy. Perhaps a wind advisory coming out late tonight and for the day, if not for Sunday. That'll be valid, probably going into Sunday night and the Monday before high pressure moves in again. And then another storm system, you can kind of pick it up there best. Go back to the radar picture. And very heavy rain again from Smith Mountain Lake down through Rocky Mount. South Boston getting in on some rain now. Catherine out there probably is getting some action there. Got a couple of still heavy storms around Asheboro and the High Point, North Carolina. And then there's a line here off to the west that continues now into western. Put up. Sponsor love there. Try to give my sponsors some love on my videos. Saltville down to Emory and Henry, Damascus. Pretty good line of storms there. There it is on this radar view. Not many lightning strikes, just 9 on this view. You can see one there in Bedford County. I can hover over these lightning strikes. Let me show you this. I can show you that lightning strike was 45, 46, 47 seconds ago. 3.305. Not even sure what the P is, but joules. What is that? I should know that. Petajoules. So a petajoule is a unit of energy that's 1 with 15 zeros. So 3 followed by 305 and 12 zeros. That's how much energy that one lightning strike had. in southern Bedford County just now. So in Bedford, let's check out Bedford County. Lynchburg's getting some rain now. We've got the storm on 24. Then we've got a heavy cell there near Snow Creek, too, in southern Franklin County. It's to the east of 220. This seems to be an area that gets a lot of heavy rain. That's moving across Route 40. Just some heavy rain with embedded thunderstorms tonight is what we're seeing. Then down here across North Carolina, as I mentioned, we had tornadoes earlier. Still some tornadoes possible with these cells coming out of Asheboro and Monroe. We've got some new activity now here in the Graham and Durham area. Greensboro is in for a wet night tonight. Back to the west, still watching the cells that kind of holding their own. They're not too intense, but they could strengthen a little bit around Bluefield and Tazewell County as well. That's a look at what's going on. Again, we widen the viewpoint out. You can see there's our point of occlusion. This is updated every several hours, so it'll update again throughout the night. The 1126 thunderstorms extended from near Winona through Montcalm and Tip Top to near Grattan. Movement was from the northeast to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. You could see 40 mile per hour winds with these storms. Rainfall very heavy. Bluefield, Princeton, Hinton, Athens, Rocky Gap, and Camp Creek in the area of these storms. And down toward Abington, I'll read you this special weather statement. It's a significant weather advisory, is what we're calling it, for eastern Sullivan, northeast Unicoi, Johnson Carter, eastern Russell, and Washington counties in the city of Bristol until 12:15. We've got a Doppler radar indicating strong thunderstorms along a line extending from Lebanon to near Pinecrest. Movement was northeast at 45 miles per hour. Half-inch hail down here in far southwest Virginia. So from Wytheville south west, you could be seeing some hail. I don't see it popping up on the radar, though. I don't see anything. Blacksburg, but it is at the far end of the. Go to Morristown. Look at their radar. We might be able to see. We can see storm reports here. Penny to nickel-sized hail in Hawkins County. These again are moving into a more stable air mass, so we may not have a lot of hail showing up. We still don't. Although it looks like we may have some ice crystals aloft. Low topped convection door. End you with this view. We'll widen it back out. Take this off. Storm predictions. And we'll let this load. This is a loop over the past hour, I believe. Hour and a half. I think it's the past hour since I started the stream here. You can see the tornado warnings are now gone, but we still have some severe weather in Charlotte. And again, the edge here of the wedge, watch out in this area of North Carolina. Eastern North Carolina from Raleigh to Virginia Beach into southeast Virginia, Hampton Roads, Greenville, Fayetteville, Wilmington, and down to New Bern, out that way, Goldsboro. I would watch for the potential for some strong storm activity, maybe severe, and maybe even some rotation as well. This is what we get to look forward to tomorrow. The back edge of this will be some rain moving in on some very gusty winds. Maybe some pea-sized hail. It would be a bit unstable. That's your update for tonight. Our next system arrives Tuesday into Wednesday with more showers and thunderstorms. Gotta love this active spring.